Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. So let's get this show moving. As Caleb Johnson just had an interview posted to the Steelers channel where he compared himself to Derrick Henry. That's what he said was his most comparable back to him, his playing style. Uh, I saw it in college at what I watched of him. He definitely that is the comparison I had a couple weeks going into the draft, couple weeks back going into this draft, just because of the size. I mean, he's 6'1", 224. I know Henry's slightly bigger at 6'3", 247, but he is still bigger than the average NFL running back build. The average build is around 5'11", 215, so slightly bigger than that. What we really got to see is the breakaway speed. Derrick Henry, we've seen it many times in with Tennessee and last year with the Ravens. He was always able to break a couple tackles at the line, and out of nowhere, he'd pull away from everyone. It was ridiculous. He was the biggest man on the field, and he was moving the fastest on the field. Whenever he got in straight space with the open grass, it was just him and the camera. It never felt like anyone else was showing up on the camera once he broke through that second level. If Johnson can show us this with a couple 40-plus yard runs this year, my hopes will be really high for the future of Caleb Johnson. First off, way better than Najee that would be. Najee, I think career long is 30 something yards. So if he can just hit a 40-plus yarder already to start off his career, I'd go crazy. I'd go crazy. We haven't seen a run game potent in a very long time, and I think Caleb Johnson can turn that around for us. Uh, he's definitely going to be a big bruiser. We're going to use him a lot on the goal line. That he is gonna be straight line kind of guy. Drop the shoulder, run you over. We saw it in the Big Ten with Iowa when teams knew Iowa, who doesn't throw the ball ever, it feels like, is gonna hand it off to Johnson 30 times a game. He still was able to average over 100 yards a game in his last season there. So very potent counter of the rock right there. Let's move on though. Continue with the position group breakdowns we've been going on through this weekend, last week. We're in our final two positions, safety and quarterback. Let's start out on the defensive side of the ball with the safety room. My favorite duo at the safety position in the league. A little biased fan, but Minka Fitzpatrick and Deshaun Elliott. I think they're the perfect combo for each other. Minka Fitzpatrick being that lockdown guy in the secondary, being that guy that can control half of the field and lock it just completely down. No quarterback's gonna test him. We've seen it the past couple of years where quarterbacks just are scared to throw his way. That's why his interception number's been down. Would like to see that go up. Learn to kind of bait the quarterback a little bit more. I would like to see him add that into his bag this year. But this pairs perfectly his game pairs perfectly with someone like Deshaun Elliott, who's gonna come down into the box, support the run game. He's gonna be able to break up those intermediate passes just by lowering the shoulder and delivering the boom. We saw that a couple times last year, and he's decent enough in coverage where he's not a liability out there at the safety position. But what he provides in the run game as a strong safety is crucial. Not like my boy Troy P, of course, but it's like a Walmart brand Troy P. We take that right now. I love seeing a safety patrol the middle of the field, be able to affect more than just the passing game, and that is what Deshaun Elliott's able to do. Now Minka, he can do that too, but I like him patrolling center field, being able to roam back there, being able to make plays on passes, while Deshaun is delivering the hit sticks in the box. But let's move to the other side of the ball, the most important position for any football team, and the Steelers are still stuck with Mason Rudolph as the starter next year. Let's go. Let's go. We're riding Rudolph. Guide me on this on this ride this season. I don't know. It's a foggy season ahead, so hopefully Mason Rudolph can guide us, can guide our sleigh all season long. But we did see flashes 2 years ago. We can't forget about them. He was able to sneak us into the playoffs, and even against the Bills, it looked like a blowout for a long time, but he was able to pull us back into that game and make it somewhat decent. Some would say there was chances to win that game if you made 1 or 2 more plays. Uh, Last year, though, really struggled with Tennessee. Now Tennessee was hot doo-doo. They weren't good at all, so maybe we can toss that year out the window, doesn't matter. If you look at his time with the Steelers, when he filled in for Big Ben when Big Ben went down, he was decent. He was always solid enough to win us a couple games. He was always what he adds that we really didn't see much of until Russell Wilson last year was the vertical threat. He's willing to sling it down the field. I think he could be a 20 to 25 touchdown guy this year, and 10 to 15 interceptions probably are gonna come with 20 to 25 touchdowns because he's gonna be taking a couple shots. He's gonna be he's not gonna be horrible. He's gonna be solid enough to get us to 9-8. That's what Steelers quarterbacks do as of recent. They're gonna be solid enough to get us to 9-8. Probably not gonna be great. But the interesting factor here is Will Howard. Will Howard, our 6th-round draft pick. Of course he's not gonna play. But what if we did play him week 1 just to see the progression? Probably would ruin his career off the rip. Let's not do that. But I think I've been saying under a veteran quarterback, I think he's gonna really progress well. I think he has that leadership mentality, that grinder mentality where he's just looking to get better every day he comes into work. So I do think he's gonna end up being at least a solid backup quarterback his whole career, but he could eventually blossom into a good starter, to even a solid starter that you could rely on for the future. Could be something like Kirk Cousins. But finally, in the quarterback room, if we see this guy, Skylar Thompson, just know the season's in the dumpster. It's time to tank for Arch. If we ever put that guy in, just know it's time to turn off the TV, turn to another team, turn to another sport, turn your TV to just anything else once Skylar Thompson comes in. Hopefully, we pray to God we never see the day Skylar Thompson is under center for the Steelers, but you never know. He's right now 3rd string on the depth chart, so 2 injuries away. 2 injuries away, and Skylar Thompson could be our starting quarterback next year, and I'd probably cry. But let's talk about those a couple veteran options at quarterback, because the list is narrowed down to 2 names. It's gonna be 2 scenarios. These are the 2 scenarios. I'm gonna list them out. First option, the first scenario is Rodgers just signs, and Rodgers, slight upgrade. Not slight upgrade. I'll give him a decent upgrade from Mason Rudolph for sure. He's going to have less of a turnover problem than Mason Rudolph. I can guarantee that. At least I hope I can guarantee that. He's old though. He's definitely old, over 40 years old, and definitely on his last leg. Not very mobile. We need the offensive line to be playing well if Aaron Rodgers is going to be back there. We need the offensive line playing well, no matter what. But if Aaron Rodgers is back there, definitely, because he's going to be brittle. As I said, he's old. He's going to be brittle back there, and he can't move for shit anymore. So we need him to make a decision here soon. And if he doesn't make a decision, or if he decides not to sign, he decides to retire, decides to go somewhere else, decides to do anything Aaron Rodgers could decide to do, think we're going to trade with Atlanta to secure Kirk Cousins, who I'd like to say is a slight upgrade from Mason Rudolph, but we look at the last 5 games of last year where he threw 1 touchdown to 11 interceptions, and I'm like, Mason Rudolph had a better stretch in Tennessee than that. So I don't really want Kirk Cousins. I want it either to be we get Rodgers or we're rocking with Mason next year. I'm completely fine just not even getting either option quarterback and rocking with Mason next year. But those are the 2 likely scenarios I think will happen in the rest of the offseason. One of these days, we'll get news at the quarterback position. Omar Khan said he wants 4 quarterbacks going into OTAs, into mini camps, all these different things. So There is a fourth one on the way. We don't know who yet, but that is it from Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Dennis, and I will see you tomorrow.